The opinions expressed on the radio program by the host, co-hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Genesis Radio, www.genesisradio.com, Genesis Radio's owners, management, or affiliates.
Good evening. Welcome to GenesisRadio.com. My name is Kendall Stevenson, and I'm the host of the Empowerment Show. Today, I have a new co-host, Shaquana Terry. I'd like to say hello.
Hey, out there in Genesis Radio world, I'm Shaquana Terry, and I'm your co-host for tonight.
That's excellent. Now, I usually start this off with a moment of gratitude. So today, I'm grateful to be in this space and have the opportunity to have a co-host to assist me along with what I'm doing.
Okay.
So if you guys have anything that you'd like to be grateful for, you can express that now.
Thank you. I am grateful for life and just great partnerships and equal give and take relationships, and of course, the Almighty God.
Sir?
So, I am Baul Arif. I'm a surgical oncologist. First and foremost, thank you for inviting me. And I am delighted to be here and meet you guys. And anything I can help you to the society to understand cancer care, I'm more than happy to help you.
A second ago while we were off the air, you guys were having a conversation, and we were talking about her past husband had passed away, and he passed away from cancer. And I understand that you were one of the doctors that were treating him at the time.
Absolutely. I did not remember until Terry brought me Shaquana about that. When she told me his name, I absolutely remember everything, the things he has gone through. And it was approximately at least 6-7 years ago, if I remember right. And that is why it's very important to get your screening done on time, early as possible when it is indicated.
Well, let me ask you, what would someone say would be a early time?
It depending on what type of cancer.
Well, I'm a man. I'm an aging man. I'm a mature man. I'm in my 60s. So the different types of cancers that would hit me right away, I guess, would be prostate and colon cancer. I guess those would be the two.
Right.
Top. So when should I go for screening for either one of them?
So when it comes to colon cancer, we recommend to get a screen at the age of 45, right? Or someone in your family diagnosed with colon cancer at least 10 years from the time he or she was diagnosed. Prostate cancer is at the age of 50, right? And you go for prostate examination, your PCP will help you, so PSA level, and so on. And like most common, one of the other cancer we take care of is breast cancer. We recommend to go for screening mammogram at the age of 40 unless you have someone diagnosed early breast cancer or you have suspicious mass or masses.
Would you suggest that men take mammograms, because men can get breast cancer as well?
That's true, but we don't recommend at this point unless there is a clinical suspicious for breast cancer, or feel a mass, or somebody has strong family history of breast cancer, or somebody has been tested for genetic testing and identified certain gene mutations.
Earlier, you and I, again, we were having this conversation about the island that you come from, your home.
Right.
Where is that?
So, it's funny you ask this question. Almost all the time patients ask me because of my accent. I come from a former British colony. That's where my accent come from. I come from the country called Ceylon. Now it's named as Sri Lanka. It's an island in Indian Ocean, closer to Singapore and Maldives Islands.
Yes. It's definitely a place that I want to visit.
It's called Island of
Yes,
Paradise.
absolutely, absolutely. It's definitely a place I want to visit. I see all of the over the water bungalows, and I'm like, oh, this looks amazing. But it is
Mhm.
considered paradise. But I did want to touch on something that you both spoke about in regards to the ages for cancer screening. My husband was a one of the people that actually was diagnosed at 41 with no family history, and as you know, we did genetic testing and things were undefined. So there was no gene mutation. There wasn't anything like that as far as his case is concerned. But he did have some symptoms that he ignored. So I think just as well as it's important to get your screening on time at the age that they suggest, but also if you feel that something is wrong, please go to your doctor and advocate for yourself and do that, right?
So you
Absolutely.
you said symptoms. I'm sorry. You said symptoms. What type of symptoms would a person have? Your husband had colon cancer.
Colon
So
cancer.
what type of symptoms would a person have
So,
having colon
so
cancer?
somebody has colon cancer. It's very important if somebody has abdominal discomfort, pain, bloating, they can't tolerate diet, constipation, bleeding. All these symptoms warrant you to be seen by a physician and order appropriate testing, including colonoscopy and digital rectal examination and even a sigmoidoscopy to look at it. Because in my lifetime experience, I have seen people at the age of 18, 19, 20 with rectal cancer and
Mm.
being misled, you're young, and then subsequently I have identified them have stage 4 cancer. It was kind of just neglected, and everybody saying it's a hemorrhoids and hemorrhoids. So if any one of the symptoms I mentioned, if you have, please go and see your primary care physician first.
Right. Right.
And like I said, you have to advocate yourself to take care of it.
So the country that you come from, your family background, is this why you got into the field that you're in?
So, yes, and cancer is common, doesn't affect one country or one nation or one ethnicity.
Hmm.
If I tell you in the United States, in lifetime, approximately every other man develop some sort of cancer in their lifetime.
Wow.
So that's almost 50%,
That's almost, yeah.
right? Every third woman develop cancer in their lifetime, some sort. It can be as simple as a skin cancer to be an advanced pancreatic cancer or lung cancer, anything, right? So that's very common. The way I get into cancer training, I always wanted to treat. First of all, I wanted to be a physician because since my young age, my mother was sick.
Hmm.
So I used to go with her all the time to see patients with her to the hospital. I always thought doctors have a different gift and talent to take care of them,
Hmm.
right? So it made me to become a doctor. Once I became a doctor, I thought I should be a surgeon.
Hmm.
Why? Because if there is something, I can take care of it, right? And when I started initial my general surgery training and going on taking care of the patient, I realized cancer is a devastating thing.
Yes,
If
it is.
if you catch the cancer early enough, then you can really take care of them, right? So that's how I completely ended up in United States.
Hmm.
I can go on talk about myself, but I think there are more important things.
No, you don't. Please, I want you to talk about
So
yourself. This tells the people the makeup of you. So when clients come to see you, they now they feel like they get an opportunity to know who you are when they know your background. It's kind of like if you know my family background, and you can tell a whole lot about me. So
that's
it's the
true.
same with you.
That's very true. However, when they're going to see Dr. Latif, the last thing that they're thinking about at that moment is kind of getting to know the doctor. They're kind of just wanting to see what treatments that are available to them and what he can do to, ensure that they have a, a quality of life, if you will, and we were talking about you having the patients that are 18 years old and just kind of not really understanding what's going on with their bodies. And how have you have you been seeing a lot more of younger patients beneath the recommended screening age being diagnosed with stage 4 cancer or even stage 3?
Having said that, that has somewhat we had to accept. People are more aware of it, and people are going for more of treatment compared to 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, that's amazing.
Unfortunately, COVID time, people did not go to the doctors, and there are some delay in diagnosis we noticed, especially when it comes to colon cancer, breast cancer. People did not go for screening mammogram and whatnot, rightly so. So that brought us to see more advanced, locally advanced cancer. Otherwise, people are going back. People are more and more aware of cancer, thanks to people like you all. They promote making awareness. I appreciate that from the healthcare community for what you guys are doing.
So just to ask, anybody can get cancer,
Absolutely.
and anybody.
Yes, including myself.
So how does it start?
So, if we know how cancer starts, we probably will not be talking because
That's
we
right.
know how to treat, okay?
Right.
But cancer start in the molecular level, cell level, right? Changes, right? That it can be. There is a famous theory called Knudsen theory.
Mhm.
It's called two-hit theory. So people have genetically predisposition, not all the cancers, then environmental factors.
All right.
Simple as smoking, change molecular levels, right? Obesity, healthy diet, stress, what we inhale and breathe,
Mhm.
all matters. Stress is one of the very common factor, in my opinion, that we stress for things that we don't deserve to be stressing.
Mm.
Well, driving a car can be stressful. Going back and
Absolutely.
forth to
Yeah.
work can be stressful.
Right.
Getting up in the morning can be stressful. But like when we talked about your husband, as far as he went through all these different tests, and still he didn't have the background or anything, but still he got it. And earlier we talked about, well, maybe it was because of the environmental conditions.
Yes, we spoke about that. A lot of things can change our cells on a molecular level, right?
Absolutely.
And it's just not the things that we put in our bodies, but there are factors, there are outside factors as well. Can you name a little bit? Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that?
So like being an obesity increases several type of cancer, including colon cancer, breast cancer, and all. And exercise, keeping your immune system active. We all produce abnormal cells in our blood, right? Circulating. But our immune system fight them and
Mhm.
kill them. So anytime cancer start growing, that means you are not fighting the cancer cells. So that can be simple as health conditions,
Mhm.
right? Immune system and what we eat, nutrition factors, things like that.
Mm.
Is there a cure? I mean, is there a vaccine or something that you can take for cancer?
Not yet, but there are a lot of research has been done. One of my mentor who passed away, I did my cancer research when I was at Fox Cancer Center. He promoted cancer vaccine at some point before my time in early 1980s. That did not materialize. I'm sure people are working on it at this point as well,
Mhm.
but there is no definite vaccines at this point. Of course, time to come there maybe.
Well, you talk about how we've evolved and how we've advanced, right? So the treatments that we had back then, what treatments do we use now that are different from one then?
I thank you for asking that question, right? When somebody has diagnosed any cancer, the way you think about everything changes. Chichakonkans tells me that everybody has expectation in life. You want your children's education, being in their marriage, in the college graduation. Once somebody diagnosed any type of cancer, their prospect of thinking completely changes.
Mm.
If you don't understand, you should not be taking care of cancer patients,
Mm.
right? It's very important. So the cancer approach is done multidisciplinary approach, right? There's a surgical oncologist like myself who has extensive training, general surgery, 5 6 years training, then surgical oncology training in cancer and research in a cancer biology. Then only you can understand. Then you come to a medical oncologist, right? who will treat with chemotherapy or immunotherapy. Compared to the past, chemotherapy has significantly improved. People always say, oh, chemo will kill. Not really true.
Mm.
So do not think like that. Go and talk, right? Radiation. So all these treatments matters. There are clinical trials, right? Also, right now we have immunotherapy, which
Mhm.
is much more advanced. Like in the past, if somebody has a melanoma, we would say, okay, this person is going to be struggling. No, we have good treatment options. It's key to go and see your doctor, follow their direction and recommendation. Don't ever hesitate to get a second opinion. If somebody comes to me, I'll say, please go, and I'll be the happiest person
Mm.
to send.
You talked about immunotherapy, which I know when my late husband was going for treatments, that was one of the things that he wasn't really able to do, or it wouldn't really help him at the time. What advances are in immunotherapy that are coming out there?
So when your husband, that was the beginning of immunotherapy,
Yeah.
that evolved. Now, almost every cancer we have some sort of advanced immunotherapy options. Okay, so that has really significantly improved the way we treat cancer.
And that's definitely encouraging, and for people who have family members or even friends who are going through their cancer journey, that there are several medical advances out there that are happening on a daily basis, that just because wasn't there a year ago, it may be there now. So it's good that you are here letting us know that, because that's something that we can actually take back to our families and friends, and just people, other strangers, just to let them know, hey, there might be something that we can do. So that's very promising.
What, what is the hardest cancer to cure?
That's the hardest question.
Hard question.
As a cancer surgeon, I tend to say every cancer, if you diagnose early,
Mhm.
it's almost all the cancers are curable, as long as it's not metastatized, right? Cancer like stage 4 lung cancer or certain brain tumors, right? Or pancreatic cancer,
Mm.
things like gallbladder cancer, things like that. But I would not, I can have somebody with as simple as a melanoma, they can die, right? Whereas somebody can be stage 1 pancreatic cancer or early tumor can be completely cured.
Mm.
So that is why you have to see appropriate right people who has the background knowledge, training, and intention of taking care of you.
Mm. And the hospitals are pretty good as far as the treatment of their patients. But you would be able to know that. What kind of treatment did your husband receive going in and out of the hospital?
Um, Definitely chemotherapy. There are different options that they have depending upon the type of cancer. Um, he did some clinical trials as well at Fox Chase, upon direction of Dr. Latif. But I think that the most important thing here is you mentioned that when the cancer metastasizes. I know what that means, but there may be some people that are listening that really don't know what that means. So if you can elaborate on that, that could give you an idea of how they treat the cancers.
Thank you for asking that question.
You're welcome.
So that means the cancer where it's originated, be it in a breast, prostate, or colon, or any other organ, thyroid, they have the cells have disseminated, dislodged from there. They float in your blood and decided to set in a place like liver or lung and start growing. So then it keep on growing. It can go to the brain, places like that.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's difficult to treat that. And my experience with that is, with my husband, when he was diagnosed, he was already at stage 4.
Mm.
And colon cancer, from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's slow growing, So he'd had that even before I met him, It just he had all of these stomach pains and just kind of actually pass that off as maybe IBS or something like that, or irritable bowel syndrome or constipation, self-diagnosis there. And then it wasn't until he actually had the blood in his stool and excruciating abdominal pain, that's when he actually went to the doctor. But by that time, it was too late, and it was too late for a doctor to perform surgery because it was metastasized into his lungs and into his liver already. So it's important, as you stated before, so important to get that early diagnosis, because that may be the catalyst for your cure. So
Right.
Especially with the environment that we live in now, with all the
Absolutely.
pollution and the different things that affect us physically, right? So, what cancer would you say has the lowest survival rate?
So that's a tough question because
Mhm.
there are certain cancer, if it's a stage 4, so like a pancreatic cancer, I would say gallbladder cancer, liver, certain types of liver cancer, because we cannot generalize, because if you take a liver, you can have as simple as a hepatocellular carcinoma, single mass, or you can have uh, biliary cancer, primary biliary tumors, and gallbladder tumor, or multiple other types of tumor has spread to your liver,
Hmm.
right? So that's the question is very challenging, because certain organs it's tough to be removed completely also, because you
Mhm.
need to live, right?
I'm sorry. Right. I didn't mean to stop you.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Got a question?
yeah, I mean, St. Luke's is a university hospital.
Right.
And I know that they are making strides in their own right when it comes to research and things of that nature. Are you, hands on with that, with the research, and how are you all, trying to combat this issue?
So St. Luke's is one of the largest healthcare network in Pennsylvania, right? In my field, we have about 6 surgical oncologists, right? And we have medical oncologists, we have radiation oncologists, we have a clinical trial department, we have a clinical research office, and every clinical trials available in the country, we can get you in,
Hmm.
right? So it is important to come and see us, one of us. It doesn't have to be me, whoever you know, right? And we will plug you in with right people.
So,
No,
like,
go ahead.
like with your husband, did he go through anxieties and so forth and so on?
I think that's a natural emotion when faced with a diagnosis such as stage 4 cancer. So I get anxiety just to go for my mammograms now, because I don't know what's going to happen. But he did have a lot of anxiety, and prior to us starting the show, Dr. Latif had to constantly um, give him a call, or have members of his staff give him a call to encourage him to come in for treatment. Because at that point, there are some times where they don't even, some cancer patients are just, if they get discouraged because the treatments aren't going well, they may not want to go in for treatment. So that's why it's important to have a great care team, because I'm on the front line with him, but then I need all the other oncologists and the surgical team to actually piggyback on my efforts, because there are times where they can get anxiety and then just not even want to move forward with treatment at all.
I asked that question because I like to know what kind of treatments do you have for those patients that have anxiety?
Oh, we have medications,
Medications.
we have social services, we have financial services, we have supportive care, we have group understanding. See, when people, like I said in the beginning, when someone diagnosed any type of cancer, their minds all over, and they also hear from other people, this person died from cancer, this person died from chemotherapy. They don't hear full information, right? They don't know, so go and see a right person to take care of you, right? I did not know that I'm meeting you, and you didn't know either, right? You just walked in here and said, I know you because you took care of my husband 7 8 years ago. The moment you told me he's story, and I knew exactly what it is, but I don't remember the name. But I can picture him in front of me because that's much I love. I do care my patients,
Mhm.
right? If any one of my patients here, they know me exactly what I'm talking. So it's important to have the right person.
So earlier, you were naming some of the doctors. You were rattling off the names of the doctors, and he knew who they were.
Mm.
And what was those names again? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was naming the his medical oncologist, who was Dr. Asim Ali.
Mhm.
Also, palliative care. We started with Dr. Interante here in the Monroe campus,
Mm.
and then he moved over to the Bethlehem campus, and we ended up with Dr. Smith, who they all of the doctors at St. Luke's were amazing. I actually ran into Dr. Interante checking my husband's son for colonoscopy at that time, just making sure that he was okay. So it was kind of like a full circle moment, and he was able to meet his son, and we talked about Randy a lot in passing. So and he was so happy that I stopped him because everyone knew him. Everyone knew my husband. He had such a big personality, but most importantly, knew that he was he was very anxious in regards to treatment. And
I remember him. He likes the late appointments
yeah,
on Fridays.
on Fridays.
I remember him very
Exactly.
well.
Yeah,
Yes.
the reason why I asked that question was because I mean these are colleagues of yours, so these are doctors that you would probably recommend if someone needed that type of treatment.
I would not recommend a doctor
Hmm.
if I don't want to go to that doctor to be treated myself,
Okay.
right? He can be next door. Sorry, I will tell honestly, right? So that's my complete. My goal is to provide the best care possible to my patient,
Okay.
right? So these are the people I completely feel comfortable, right? And we have more and more well advanced, well trained physicians have joined St. Luke's recently,
Hmm.
and we are expanding. And you've probably seen the
I've
new
seen
building coming. We are going to have more and more types of cancer care here. Will be taken care of.
That's very nice to know. That's actually very good to know that if I should happen to get cancer, I can look you up. So if I needed to look you up in particular, what would I do? How would I do that?
Hey, you look at St. Luke's website,
Hmm.
or you just Google my name.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the best way, you know. And then you do your research. Don't just go by somebody he or she said. There may
Hmm.
be someone better than me.
Hmm.
I'm never hesitant. My goal is whether you come to me or not, as long as you get the best care.
Hmm. With your colleagues, do you guys collaborate about different theories or things that?
All the time.
Okay.
We talk, communicate. We have multidisciplinary tumor boards, like for every cancer, certain days, and somebody will present if the complex cases and get other people opinion.
Hmm.
If you go and you will see that most of the cancer care centers do that now.
Hmm.
That's kind of standard.
Yeah, and a perfect example of that is even though St. Luke's they have clinical trials that can come in. The Dr. Latif actually recommended for us to go to Fox Chase because he thought that that would have maybe been a better choice for us during that time. So they do communicate, they do recommend each other, and they also they just want the best care. And if you go into a cancer research center in general, they're just going to want the best care for the patient. So and they genuinely care about you. And that's the one thing that I've encountered with St. Luke's and with Fox Chase. They have a wonderful staff who genuinely care.
Very good that your experience was that way.
Yes.
That you can come back and say that. Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I'm sure everybody listening appreciates that as well. Um, that's what you're here for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
listen, we're gonna do this first. This is GenesisRadio.com. My name is Kendall Stevenson. I'm the host of the Empowerment Show. You can give us a call if you like. The telephone number is 888-304-4401. Okay. My co-host, she really wants to hear from you, and the doctor would love to hear from you. I'm sure you can answer. He can answer any questions that you have concerning cancer. So let's keep it in that direction. I'm going to turn it over to my co-host. This is her first day, so I'm going to put her feet to the fire.
All right. we've been talking we've so extensively about cancer, and what strides is St. Luke making to ensure that the patients get the best available treatments out there?
So, like I said, we have very advanced equipment to identify, diagnose, be it a mammogram, colonoscopy. Number two, they all recruit qualified physicians, right, who are well trained, well versed, and collegial, friendly, good working environment. That's number two. And also having all the facilities, we are trying to bring these facilities to the communities. That's example. When about 7, 8 years ago, St. Luke's didn't have any presence in this area. It started with a smaller hospital. Now you see how much they are investing and bringing the service to the community. So we do provide good care.
Along with providing good care, you said that you have something here in the community. Where in the community?
So St. Luke's Hospital at on is Monroe campus.
Mhm.
It's on everybody
We're
knows.
611.
Oh, no,
611.
everybody may not know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody may
Yeah,
not
you
know.
are right. You're right. On 611, just opposite the Chick-fil-A, I guess.
And
That's
there,
your landmark.
Yeah,
Yes.
check your landmark.
and there is a cancer treatment center there. Is that
Yes, that's the
okay?
cancer center. Is we have radiation oncologists, medical oncologists. You can get the radiation here. You will see a surgical oncologist, like myself and some of my other colleagues, all come here.
Okay, this is a question you may not answer. Uh, Guy has cancer. Yeah, his insurance is not up to par. Do you treat him?
Of course, you come to us. When someone walks into me, I don't know whether this person, he or she, has insurance or not.
Hmm.
I never know. If somebody tells me, and that's where the social worker comes, and St. Luke's has the way to help them, right? We have financial assistance. They will uh, communicate, consult with the states to get the care. Put that money aside.
Hmm.
Just come, tell us. We will take care of it.
Yeah, and I can speak to the level of resources that they have. I had really good insurance, so my husband didn't really have too much out of pocket, but there were a lot of resources. The social worker always asked us whether or not we needed anything, and when it was time for us to go to Fox Chase, they were able to help us get into like the Hope Lodge out there, which is
Exactly.
run by the American Cancer Society.
Hmm.
And they will put you there if you're going for clinical trials or any other type of cancer treatment, and it's free of charge.
Mm.
So, and a lot of people don't know about the Hope Lodge. It is located in many cities. So if you are going through cancer treatment, if you're listening, and if your family is going through cancer treatment, there the Hope Lodge is there for you. You just have to ask your social worker, and they have to put in a referral,
Hmm.
and they will get you into the Hope Lodge to stay there for your treatments while you're there.
So,
Outstanding.
so also St. Luke's, we have a free transportation for all our cancer patients.
Yes, they do.
They go pick you up, bring for the treatment, and take you back home. Right? They will pick up your time for your appointment, for your treatment, and etc.
Mm.
Yeah.
We have several transportation facilities. These are all free of charge.
Yeah.
If you can't have transportation options, not everyone can have a car or they don't drive. So those things should not limit you. But
That's
you got to speak up
Mhm.
because if you don't bring up, no one knows. You got to speak up.
Well, my mother used to say, "A closed mouth don't eat."
Those mouths don't
Exactly.
get fed.
Yeah, that's what
That's true.
Yeah.
I can just speak to your transportation. We had our Star Transport.
Right.
I don't know if you are still contracted with them, but there was a driver, Angel. She was amazing. That would bring my husband back and forth. But it took our doctor and even the social worker to even allow my husband to get treatment or get transportation because he always wanted me to take him back and forth. And they're like, she may be tired. Take a little bit of a load off of her, and that is if you're a caretaker or something like that. Speak to your social worker, and they will recommend the treatment. Like Dr. Latif said, they come to your home, pick them up, and bring them right back to you.
Mm.
So, and it's free of charge, included in the service that St. Luke's provides. So they have a lot of good services that you just have to ask for. A lot of things aren't really made known to you, but that's with anything. You have to ask, and you shall receive.
Speaking of asking, when I go to see a doctor and he's diagnosing me, what questions should I ask him?
So first thing, you have to make sure you understand what kind of cancer, what stage, what is your prognosis. So what are the alternative options, whether should you get a second opinion. Always do that,
Mhm.
right? It's always educated decision matters. People like simple as people who have with the breast cancer, they can say they're worried, concerned about losing the hair.
Mm.
You don't know, but we have an options to wear a special cap to prevent losing hair. We call cold cap. If you don't ask, you probably don't, right? Or there are social services. If somebody don't want to use that, they can have wings free of charge, and although hair loss is temporary, most of the cases they come back, right? But you don't want people tell you, other than qualified people, what to expect.
Mhm. So I notice that some they have different forms of treatment or different forms of diagnosing a person. Let's say a guy has prostate cancer. Would you say it's better for him to have the MRI or to have a biopsy?
So always tissue diagnosis critical, any diagnosis, right? Cancer is not diagnosed if you don't have tissue,
Mm.
right? There are certain characters, certain tumors you can say specific character, imaging, finding MRI and things like that, but still you have to have a tissue diagnosis because treatment has its own consequences. You want to see cancer cell under the microscope. That's the best way I feel, best options to diagnose for. So biopsy is the best way to go.
I've heard that biopsies can also cause you to have cancer.
That's absolutely not true, right? There are certain cancers in the past. They say if you do a needle that can track the cancer to the skin or to the track, but those things are thing of the past. Now there are needles to protect them. There are some covers so protect them, and those things were never proven true.
Mm.
So those are the misconception
Mhm.
some people may have it, right? You talk to your doctor, right? He or she may be able to explain specific to your treatment.
Mm. I've talked to some people. I've never had it, but I've talked to some people who've had it. They said it's very painful having a biopsy. That they kind of poke all different places because they can't actually pinpoint where it's at exactly.
Are you talking specific prostate cancer?
Well, yeah, prostate cancer.
Right. So prostate cancer is such a thing under ultrasound. I will not talk to you much about prostate cancer because that's not my expertise,
Okay.
urology. But I can generalize tell they do under ultrasound look at the area and they want to get a certain number of biopsies not to miss cancer,
Mm.
right? I personally haven't had a prostate biopsy, but I have seen people too. People tolerate fairly well.
Mm.
It's numb the area and it's special clicks, and it's not painful as much as you think. Having said, pain is an individual thing.
Mhm.
Some people can tolerate so well, some people can't tolerate. Talk to your doctor before you go through. They can give you some kind of calming medications to help you with, or numbing, and etc. etc. etc.
See, I bring that up because in the African American community, a lot of African American men they die from prostate cancer. That's one of the number one killers besides cancer. So, would you say it's cancer affects one group more than it does another?
There are certain type of cancer like that.
Hmm.
Prostate cancer can be, it's all delaying diagnosis. Unfortunately, in African American community, they are not, I'm not trying to put it, how can I say, They don't go to the doctors early enough,
Mhm.
or social disadvantage because of the health insurance and whatnot and society we live in, they may delay in diagnosis,
Mm.
right? Like I said, all the cancers are curable or controllable as long as you diagnosed early. Probably, I'm saying probably because I do not take care of prostate cancer. In my experience, it's probably delay in diagnosis.
Mm. Or in denial.
Denial.
A lot of African Americans stopped trusting the doctors pretty much after the Tuskegee experiments. Do you know about that?
I don't know that experiment. You can tell me.
Well, they were using the African Americans to experiment on them with all kind of drugs and things like that, and a lot of us died and got sick, and it didn't fare us very well. So that kind of sticks in your blood, as you want to say.
It's true.
So a lot of people, especially African American men, they get into this denial about wanting to go to a doctor. Prostate cancer, that's another one. It's like, oh, prostate cancer. They don't want to hear that they have that.
Hmm.
It's maybe it's a pride thing. I don't know.
I don't necessarily think it's a pride thing. I think it may be just a knowledge thing. Um, bad news spreads fast in the community,
Right,
right?
right, absolutely.
Way faster than good news. But I think that the common misconceptions that he actually, some of them, he mentioned today. This is where I come in. In times where someone's telling me that they don't want to go to the doctor to get treated, oh, it's going to hurt, it's going to this, and I have to actually let them know you'd rather have 5 or 10 minutes of pain, okay? Or would you rather have 5 or 10 minutes of pain or sometimes a lifetime of treatments? That the chemotherapy, those types of treatments, sometimes they're very hurt. They hurt. They are very painful. The amount of pain that you get from cancer in general is severe, depending upon the type of cancer that you have. So it's it's like a trade off. Like which one would you rather have? And would you rather be here for a long time? Or like you said, early detection. Most cancers, if not all, they're all preventable or treatable if they're detected early. So I think that it's up to us, especially when you're having people like you on the show. It's up to us as a community to let people know, just inform them. This is what will happen. This is what can happen. Do not listen to what this person said or this person said word of mouth. Go for yourself and find out for yourself so that you can live the best life that you want.
Well said. Thank you for bringing it up.
And we'd like to please have you guys remember, we are a community show. So we're here to empower the community. That's why we call the empowerment. So there's a lot of misclaimers. There's a lot of disinformation, especially when it comes to cancer, that people just don't know. You have people that are in denial. You have people that are probably just afraid to find out that they have cancer because it's such a traumatic experience to them. You see. So again, we're glad to have you here, so this way we can get this information out to the community.
Thank you for inviting. Anything I can do, help people, I'm more than happy to spend time and talk to you.
Now, if I wanted to do what you do, what channels or what would my journey be?
You're too late, my friend.
I'm too late.
In the sense, it's a
Long
total number of years to training,
Uh-huh.
right? You have to go to medical school, which you have not done, I assume.
No, I have not.
So at least that's a 4 years, right?
Actually, I graduated from Pace University.
Oh, nice.
It's a medical school, anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you have to do surgical residency training.
Right.
That is at least 5 to 6 years. That's a general surgery. You become a general surgeon. Then you have to have background research in clinical biology of cancer, right? Then you have to have a surgical oncology training that is anywhere 2 to 3 years. So that's itself over 10 years, right? So then you start practicing. That's why we call medicine practicing. We learn every day,
Yes.
every day. So that's the process. Everybody can do it, but you have to start early.
So you're talking at least 10 years.
Easy.
Easy. So you have to have a real passion for what you do.
Absolutely. This is not so somebody. I mean, I can tell you, I had two kids, both are in the medical field,
Right.
right? My daughter is a resident at Temple. She wants to be a medical oncologist. My son just graduated from University of Pennsylvania undergrad. My daughter went to UPenn for undergrad and medical school at Dartmouth. One day, my son called my daughter and said, "We are spending so much money to go to medical school and is it worth?" He was first year, and my daughter told, "Today I saved somebody's life with a cardiac arrest. No one else claimed that,
Hmm.
right? I saved somebody's life. People can say I have millions and billions of money in my bank account, but you can't say that you saved somebody's life.
That's very true.
That's you have to like what you do."
I love that perspective.
So that is how he didn't want to talk to me, but he thought, wow, it's so expensive. Is it worth with all the loans and whatnot? This was her answer to him. So after that, he never speak to me about it. He knows that he wants to do it.
Yeah.
So you got a family of doctors.
We love what we do.
Yeah, you got a family of doctors.
So this is how you do, right?
Mhm.
Every children see what your parents do. They see that they like what they do. They want to follow. Don't get me wrong, I never force them. If
Mhm.
my children are listening, they will answer that question to you, right? But they understand that you love what you do, the way you talk to the people and help them. So there is a satisfaction internally comes. You can't put the money into it.
That's correct. That's correct. I help people plan for retirement, and my daughter she watches me every day because I work from home now, and she's like, "Mom, I love what you do in the financial world," but she's going in for her LCSW because she likes to speak to children and get them in that age where they're growing up and try to put them on the right track with behavioral health. So that's what she's doing. She just graduated Penn State in May, and she's going to Villanova for her master's.
Nice.
So we're excited about that, and she's excited and passionate about what she does, and not just to help people. She sees me going to different places and advocating for colon cancer and things of that nature, and that's exactly what she wants to do, but on a different level.
Mm.
So and you're right. They do have your parents are your first role model, right, if you will. So it's important for her to be able to get out there and make a name for herself and help people as well. So I can attest to that. You know, your kids wanting to.
My kids are a little different. Like, eh, with the things that I try to instill to them, because I don't really care what profession they decide to get into, as long as they're well versed about the profession that they're going into. So basically, I teach them drive, will, and determination, and then education.
Mm.
Because there are many people that have the education, but they don't have the drive or the will. And then there's those that have the drive and the will, but yet they can't go anywhere because they don't have the education. So I tell my especially my son, he's my junior, and especially to him, and I can see how he's following that logic. He doesn't procrastinate. At one point he did, but he learned procrastination doesn't get you anywhere. He thought that by not going to school he could still fly and have these wings and do things, but then he realized that having an education is something that he also needed.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Everybody has a desire. It's a hard working and putting your time and effort matters. If you don't do that, you can have any kind of desire you want to achieve. That's what I tell everybody.
6:45 needs you to tell who we are.
All right. My name is Shaquana Terry. I'm the co-host of the Empowerment Show on GenesisRadio.com. You can tell who you are there. It's 6:45. We are actually located at 18 South 9th Street, Suite 104, Stroudsburg, PA 18360. And if you would like to answer any questions or ask any questions, our telephone number is 888-304-4401. Again, that telephone number is 888-304-4401.
And I gotta apologize because we got this sign up that kind of tells us who we are and where we are. The location on the sign is wrong. We're at 383 Brown Street in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. That's our location. We used to be at 18 South Street, and 18 South 9th Street is actually the location of the Democratic Party. So if anybody wanted to go to a town hall meeting, that would be the location that you would go to. But we're located at 383 East Brown Street, and that's in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. I do apologize. All yours.
Yeah, he didn't tell me that. I'm thinking it's a mailing address, right? It's my first day. Just cut me some slack here, okay? It's my first day, but yes, like he said, we're at 383 East Brown Street in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, 18301. This is where we're located.
I am Maul Arif. I'm a surgical oncologist. Most of you have heard my name. I work at St. Luke's University Health Network. My closest office here is Montreux campus at MOB, Medical Office Building, Suite 100. If you have any concern about surgery, cancer, any type of, you can reach my office and I will take care of you. If I can't take care of you, I will send you to the right person.
Well, if I wanted to contact you, I kind of need a number.
I don't have top of my mind, but it's
okay.
a St. Luke's website.
It's a St. Luke's website.
Yes, St. Luke's University Health Network. If you go there and you have numbers and you can do it, appointment online. And I'm sure there are direct numbers, multiple numbers.
Okay, so you're online.
Of course.
Okay. Well, since we got the accent going, a lot of people may not really hear your name. Can you repeat it and maybe spell it so they can
Maul
look you up?
Lareef, Lareef. I'm a surgical oncologist. I know people call me Latif. It doesn't matter. It's okay. But with my accent, everybody knows me. And you come and you tell my name, they will send you to the right people, right place.
Have they called you Dr. Mo yet?
They do call me all the time. Most
Yeah.
of my patients. If you know me, if you have been my patient, you probably have my cell phone number too. Okay, because I know when people have questions middle of the night, I'm okay to answer because I feel people when they need service, you should be available 24/7.
Mhm. Cancer is very traumatic, and sometimes it's very hard to understand, and a lot of people are in denial. So it's a good idea that we have someone that we can call, someplace that we can go to in order to get relief. Um, there are other organizations out there. Do you guys hook up with the other organizations?
Yes, I mean they are the Lehigh Valley Health Network here. They
Mhm.
also do an excellent service, right? I used to work for them several years back. So wherever you go, make sure you get the right treatment. You just do your homework, follow, ask for a second opinion, go from there and get the best care possible. You don't have to come to me alone. There are other people, some are better than me, right? Go for it, but do not delay or procrastinate your care.
I think that part of your homework should also be word of mouth. So that I usually find that's the best way to get the best information is for someone that has had that experience with a doctor or so forth and so on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You talk to your neighbors, or you talk to your family who has had that kind of experience, do your homework, and go from there.
Yeah, when people say do your homework, some people may say, well, what does that exactly mean, do my homework? That means you get online. If you have a cell phone, you can even use the microphone on your cell phone and you can talk right into the microphone, ask for who you want, and it will give you a listing of the hospital, the doctors. All that information is available for you. It's right at your fingertips. If you happen to be a mature person, you can always pick up a phone and you could probably dial zero, speak to an operator, and tell them that you want to get to St. Luke's Hospital. They'll get you there, and from there, they'll take you to where you need to go. Have any closing words, young lady?
I would like to just let everyone know that St. Luke's Hospital is top notch when it comes to care. And Dr. Mo and the other members of his team will do the best for you and your loved ones, and just to make sure that if you do get diagnosed with cancer, that you have the best quality of life possible.
Thank you very much for your kind
Now,
words.
just along with that, you're at St. Luke's. I'm sorry, you're at St. Luke's, right?
Yeah.
But you guys are not actually from St. Luke's. You have your own practices.
No, I am
St. Luke's.
employed by St. Luke's,
Okay.
and it's not a private practice. It's just we work for them.
And how did you feel about the doctors from Lehigh Valley? You said you were there at one time as well.
They are also excellent. They
They're
also
also
provide
excellent.
a good service.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that because I don't want to put one over the other.
No, don't ever do that. Like I said, everybody who has you go there wherever you feel comfortable. Take care of your cancer. It doesn't matter. You don't have to come to me alone. There are other physicians in the neighborhood, in the area. You can provide the same care. So
Right.
don't think it's only St. Luke's. That's not what we are trying to promote here. We are trying to promote for people to get the proper care, early diagnosis, and treatment.
That's excellent.
Correct.
So with the early diagnosis, how young should a person be to, let's say, get diagnosed with colonoscopy or even prostate cancer?
So, like we talked at the beginning, unless there is a symptomatic or family history of breast, the colon cancer, you go at the age of 45,
45.
right? Colonoscopy. For mammogram, everybody should start at the age of 40.
14?
40,
40.
40,
40 years old. Okay.
right? And if prostate cancer, you start at the age of 50. Some people even say you should start earlier,
Okay.
right? Things like that. If you are a smoker, you have to make sure you're well aware of risk of lung cancer. You can do CAT scan to identify any risk factors, right? There, these services are available free of charge if you really look for it.
So for everybody who heard him, he said services are available free of charge. That was a quote.
If you look for them.
If you look for them. Okay, we're at the end of the show. My name is Kendall Stevenson, and this is Shaquana Terry. She is my co-host and an excellent co-host, and I hope everybody tunes in and really enjoy the show and absorb what we're trying to push out. August 17th, right, Terry?
August 17th.
Unity in the community, and we hope that everyone comes out. We're going to be at Danbury Park. We got live music, live entertainment. We got a car show coming up. You have an excellent photographer and a videographer that will also be there, that will be recording this event. So everyone, please come out, enjoy yourself, bring your kids. We're helping the adults and the children. This is basically for the children. Okay, so thank you. My name is Kendall, Shaquana, Doctor, and we're
Dr.
out.
Larry,
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Peace. We're out. Thank you.